Good morning. Today's January 2nd. I'm going to be reading Genesis 4. Let's see. Through 5, verse 32. Yeah, 4 and 5. And I want to apologize in advance for the names. We're going to be going through names. So, let's get started. First 3 sons of Adam and Eve. In a continuing succession of beginnings, the Genesis account records the beginning of the first family. Adam and Eve give birth to 2 sons named Cain and Abel, and later to a third named Seth. The text will subsequently indicate that over a period of many years, the family will include numerous sons and daughters, as there is no indication of other created human beings. It is altogether likely that these first brothers and sisters enter into marriages with each other, despite the sense of inappropriateness which would be felt should that occur in following generations. Still another first is the Genesis record of mankind's earliest formal worship of God. Both Cain and Abel offer sacrifices to God by devoting the fruits of their individual labors. As a farmer, Cain brings a portion of his crops, while Abel, a herdsman, offers up some of the best of his flock to God. Although the text is silent as to what prompts God's response, it is evident that God is not pleased with Cain's offering. Whether this is because God has specifically commanded the brothers to offer animal sacrifices, or whether perhaps Cain's character is already known by God to be evil, is unclear. In any event, Cain's pride is dashed, and his anger toward Abel is so great that in an act of premeditated murder, Cain kills Abel. The murder is then compounded when Cain lies to God concerning Abel's whereabouts. Although God punishes Cain for his wrongdoing, the text gives some interesting insight into the character of God by indicating that despite Cain's great sin, God nevertheless shows mercy to him. This is not to be a unique act of grace. God's mercy will be seen time and again. Unfortunately, Cain apparently does not respond favorably to God's mercy, at least if his descendants are any reflection of Cain's continued character. In contrast, when Seth is born, it appears that Seth takes on the righteous character of Abel and instills a respect for God in his children as well. Adam lay with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man." Later, she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord, but Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must master it." Now Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out to the field." And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I don't know," he replied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crop for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." But the Lord said to him, "Not so. If anyone kills Cain, he will suffer vengeance 7 times over." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain lay with his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Cain was then building a city, and he named it after his son Enoch. To Enoch he was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Mehujael, and Mehujael was the father of Methuselah, and Methuselah was the father of Lamech. Lamech married 2 women, one named Ada and the other Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jabal. He was the father of those who live in tents and raise livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all who play the harp and flute. Zillah also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, "Ada and Zillah, listen to me. Wives of Lamech, hear my words. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for injuring me. If Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech's 77 times." Adam lay with his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth, saying, "God has granted me another child in place of Abel, since Cain killed him." Seth also had a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, men began to call on the name of the Lord. So here's more commentary. Descendants from Adam to Noah. What follows is a simple chronology of 10 generations from Adam through Seth to Noah. Yet this brief family record is full of surprises. For one thing, the men who are named each live for hundreds of years and have children when they are from 65 to 500 years old. Much speculation has been generated as to the cause of this longevity. Some have even rejected the historical accuracy of the account, saying that the years are merely representative periods of time, perhaps shorter than modern years. However, the original language allows no such interpretation. In support of the historic credibility of the account, others have explained the unusual longevity on a variety of bases, including the effect of the fruit of the tree of life in the Garden of Eden, the original immortality of man feeling only the slightest consequences of sin at this early stage in man's development, or the superiority of the food, atmosphere, and other living conditions during this period. One can only speculate, but acknowledging a creative being powerful enough to bring the universe into existence certainly allows the option for such a creator to permit unusually lengthy lives for whatever purpose might suit his comprehensive plan for mankind. A number of possible purposes immediately present themselves, including the need to quickly populate the earth and the need to promulgate basic moral principles throughout the beginnings of mankind. Promulgating morality throughout the early generations is made easier due to the fact that Adam and Seth continue to live as contemporaries with their offspring several generations removed. By living 930 years, for example, Adam is still alive during the days of Lamech, father of Noah, toward the end of the first millennium from creation. One can almost see Adam gathering the early patriarchs together and telling them over and over how God created the world, how he directed mankind to live, and how he showed both punishment and mercy when Adam and Eve, and even Cain, had been disobedient. Still, another surprise is that one of Adam's descendants, Enoch, does not die, ever. After 365 years of what is apparently an exceptionally righteous life, Enoch is taken from the world in some manner other than death. The accounts of the other patriarchs each record the year in which they die, but the account of Enoch indicates that he was no more. What is even more noteworthy than one's being translated out of this life without experiencing death is the exciting suggestion that mankind is immortal, that there is actually life beyond death. It is altogether possible that this genealogical listing, and others to follow, may not list every successive generation, and therefore may omit hundreds of years of mankind's history. Such would be the case, for example, if son were used in reference to a grandson, or an even more remote descendant, as is sometimes seen in later historical records. Should that be the case, there would be great difficulty in assigning specific dates to such major events as the creation of the first man and woman, or the great flood which will come in the days of Noah. Because there is no indication to the contrary, this narrative proceeds on the assumption that the genealogies list father to son progressions without omission of intervening generations, but leaves the matter as an open question. Early dating will be shown as AC, after creation of mankind, as calculated from the information supplied in the Genesis record, until such time as more positive dating in the BC era can be utilized. Even then, the dates indicated are usually only approximate and should not be considered unquestionable. Dates are supplied where reasonably believed to be accurate in order to aid the reader's understanding of the historical context. All right, back to the word. This is the written account of Adam's line. When God created man, he made them in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them, and when they were created, he called them man. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness, in his own image, and he named him Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Adam lived 930 years, and then he died. When Seth had lived 105 years, he became the father of Enosh. And after he became the father of Enosh, Seth lived 807 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Seth lived 912 years, and then he died. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he became the father of Kenan. And after he became the father of Kenan, Enosh lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enosh lived 905 years, and then he died. Mahalalel. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he became father of Mahalalel. And after he became the father of Mahalalel, Kenan lived 840 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Kenan lived 910 years, and then he died. When Mahalalel had lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. And after he became the father of Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years, and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Mahalalel lived 895 years, and then he died. When Jared had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. And after he became the father of Enoch, Jared lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Jared lived 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. And after he became the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived 365 years. Enoch walked with God, and then he was no more, because God took him away. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. And after he became the father of Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Methuselah lived 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son. He named him Noah, and said, "He will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands, caused by the ground the Lord had cursed." After Noah was born, Lamech lived 595 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Lamech lived 777 years, and then he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And that's it for January 2nd. See you tomorrow.